Hi, my name is Michelle Cardenas, and I'll be speaking about my final paper and my research that went into it. I went into 3 separate events with an acquaintance's family. They were Spanish speaking. I'm a native Spanish speaking Mexican. And what I noticed and observed throughout these 3 events was that there is a very large influence on my culture and language with misogyny. They go hand in hand, and I didn't notice it until I was observing directly, like as an experiment or as my project. And that's when I just like clicked that everything in my culture just connects back to, not everything, but most things connect back, especially if you're a woman in my culture, connect back to misogyny. The first event that I went to was to a barbecue. The men were at the grill speaking to each other about alcoholic beverages and how to cook meat and all this good stuff. I didn't really hear everything because I was sitting at the table with the women where everybody was speaking about different topics, but all the topics just went back to the same thing, which was talking about other women and their characteristics and their character and how they presented themselves within society. And it was usually just negative feedback, never good. And if it were good, it would always be backed up by negative. Um, Especially when it came down to mother's daughters or the aunt's daughters. They would speak to their daughters very disrespectfully, talking about their negative traits in front of their whole family, not really caring if they embarrassed them or not, going and crossing boundaries when it was very unnecessary and unuseful. I heard several times that the woman that the elder, not the elderly, the older woman would always suggest to the younger ones, the daughters, you should get a boyfriend, you should get married, that you need to find stability and happiness within a relationship, or you'll just be ending up lonely and miserable. They equate being with a man as happiness. And that just doesn't sit right with me, first of all, because we don't need men to feel self-sufficient or independent at all. Our happiness shouldn't depend on who can support us. It should depend on how we can support each other, like ourselves. Um, and they would just drag each other down all the time. The second event that I went to was at a restaurant, and my acquaintance's little sister was wearing a short skirt, which I thought looked really well with her outfit, you know? I didn't really think much of it. But an aunt pointed out very, very loudly in front of everybody, you are wearing that kind of thing to a family event? And the mother overheard and said, I told her not to wear that, but she still wanted to. The girl left embarrassed and ashamed to the bathroom, of course, like she basically ran. And everybody else laughed at the table and continued to speak upon the same topic, like talking about how their daughters just don't know how to respect themselves and what to wear and this and that. Like they don't know how to cook, they don't know how to clean. Clearly disrespecting their daughters in front of everybody. Everybody. Um, I believe that this woman did this. The aunt did this to the mother's daughter, my acquaintance's little sister, because she wanted to feel superior. She was like, therefore, I don't do that, so why do you do that? That is so uncalled for. You should dress the way men want you to dress. You should do what men want you to do so you can be happy and you can be stable in your life. And that's just not how things should go. That's not how things work, and that's not how the world should work. By the time I had the third event, it was at her house. It was very chill. It wasn't really like the other past events, and I believe it's because there wasn't anybody else but the immediate family. I believe the head of the household woman feels like she can speak her mind out a little bit more when she's with other women her age because they agree with her. and she feels like she has more people to support her when she's giving out reasons that have no logic behind them. And I believe that's why she doesn't speak out as much in front of her daughter or her sister or my acquaintance's sister either, because she just doesn't want to start fights. She just wants to keep the peace of the household. And during these 3 whole entire events, I never heard once, not once, did I ever hear them talk badly about the men in the family. They respected their boundaries. They let them be, didn't care what they were doing, didn't care how they were dressed. They let them be the whole entire time. And I, as a woman, as a Mexican, believe this whole entire thing is just unbelievable. I never once noticed, really, until I looked closely and observed and took notes. And I want to change this. I believe women my age should be the first step to take this kind of misogyny out. And it's going to take a long time, probably. But it's going to start with me. And I'm going to try to start a positive impact on my culture and try to not brainwash my kids with misogyny. But yeah, that's what I found out through my observation and research. Thank you so much for your time, and I hope you have a nice day.